Vecna is Dead by Daylight's newest killer, with 4 abilities in one kit that he can switch through on the fly that do amazing things. Too bad they are all really bad. Vecna right now is the embodiment of a jack of all trades but master of none. Playing as him feels incredibly underwhelming, and like no matter what I do, his power just feels incredibly held back. Like they intentionally preemptively nerfed his kit to make sure he's not OP on the launch for PTB, and well, they 100% succeeded with that one, because as of now I'd say he's a solid C tier killer that has no redeeming qualities really. Now I hope I'm wrong about all this, you know, I hope I'm just doom posting and that when he goes live I'm wrong. I really do hope so, but as of now he is really close to Freddy. He's closer to Freddy than he is even like Twins or Hag. He's just really bad. So let's start with his kit. I'll super simplify it. He has 4 abilities. His first one is Mage Hand. Mage Hand lets you summon a hand that will hold up a pallet for 4 seconds or lift it back up. Next is Flight of the Damned, which sends out 5 skeletons in a spread out cone shape to damage survivors. Third is Dispelling Sphere, which shoots out a big orb that will expand, then go forward, and unless survivors have a magic item, it is completely invisible to them. Finally is Fly, which lets Vecna fly around quickly over pallets or windows. Now let me say this, all 4 of these abilities have an incredibly long cooldown, like 30 to 45 seconds long. And sure, maybe that makes sense because he has 4 abilities, so it'll make you want to rotate through them and toggle through all of them while your other abilities are on cooldown, right? Well, like I said, his abilities are so bad. Let's start with Mage Hand. Mage Hand blocks a pallet for 4 seconds, and it is such a small amount of time that in basically every loop, 99% of loops, if you block it, the survivor will just do another rotation around the pallet, and by the time the ability's over, they can just drop it again. It lasts for such a short amount of time, you never get any value out of it. Then, Vecna is massively slowed down while casting it for like 2 whole seconds. Yeah, half of its duration. He has an add-on that makes him faster after he uses it, but you're slowed for so long that you don't get any value out of it. Like look at it right here. I use it, you can't even tell I got haste because I'm slowed down so much that I'm slower than the survivor even with his add-on. Not to mention that there's a magic item that will give survivors 7% haste for 3 seconds whenever I use this ability. So I get slowed down by like 30% for 2 seconds while I block a pallet for 4 seconds and they move at 107% movement speed. It's just, why? And then again, you know, 45-second cooldown on this ability for some reason. Like, can you tell me that these boots gave me any value right here? No, you can't. Do you see why Vecna is so bad? And this is only the tip of the iceberg. Trust me, it only goes downhill from here. Then, of course, the hand doesn't even break the pallet unless you bring an iridescent add-on. Who in their right mind actually ever wants to pick up a pallet again for survivors? This is literally helping the survivors because there's even a perk for that, to pick up pallets that weren't destroyed. This is literally helping the survivors unless you bring this add-on. Because, you know, they loop around it again, you can get pallet stunned. So this is literally helping them. And remember, the cooldown for this ability, 45 seconds. So you want to help you can help the survivor pick up the pallet every 45 seconds. Then you might be saying, oh, for 4 seconds, oh, there must be an add-on that will make you hold it longer. And yeah, you're right, there is. By 1 whole second, he can hold up a pallet for 5 seconds. He is just a worst blood favor. This killer has so many problems. Next is Flight of the Damned, and this is a contender for genuinely the worst ability in all of Dead by Daylight, and I'm not even kidding. Flight of the Damned sends out 5 skeletons in a cone shape that spread out a lot and have an extremely precise hitbox. So far, that's alright, right? You know, you can just boom, shotgun, shoot it, and you'll hit someone. Well, you can just crouch under them. Yeah, if you see this ability coming, you can just crouch under it. It can't hit you. And remember, this ability is on a 45-second cooldown, and you can just press the control key and you dodge it. Yep. And of course, Vecna is massively slowed down while he's shooting it, so it's not even like he can shoot it and catch up while you're crouched. Nope, because he's slowed down too. 45-second cooldown for this, by the way. The hitbox on the skeletons is super precise, so even though it spreads out a ton like a cone, it doesn't even matter because, you know, they can just crouch. It doesn't matter how precise you are, crouch. Oh, I see the skeletons coming, crouch. Like in this clip, I didn't even have to look. I heard him casting it, and I just guesstimated when it was going to come, and I pressed crouch. Boom, I don't get punished for it. At first, I thought when I read this ability, it was going to be like Artist's ability, where you can like place down the skeletons, wait, and then fire it again. But no, as soon as you use the ability, they start flying. So you can't even like, okay, I'll hold it right here in this part of Shack, where it'll hit both the window and the pallet. But no, it's just like, okay, I pressed it, and you crouched while you were at the pallet, and I got nothing out of it. 45-second cooldown. The only way I can imagine actually hitting someone with his ability is if you manage to time it perfectly and hit them while they're, dropping a pallet or vaulting a window. That way they won't be crouching. But other than that, you just push one button and the entire ability does nothing to you. Like when I say this ability is bad, it is bad, B-A-D. Of course, there is a magic item that will let you see the auras of the skeletons while they're flying, but again, you can just crouch under it. You can bring urban evasion and there will be no penalty to dodging his ability. Next is Dispelling Orb. This shoots out a hollow purple that expands, then goes forward, revealing everyone inside it with Killer Instinct, meaning that Distortion and Calm Spirit won't work, and disabling their magic items for a long period of time. This ability is fine besides the, again, for some reason, massive slowdown you get after using it and massive cooldown on it. I just felt like, I really feel like before this PTV came out, they're like, let's just make sure that he's not too overpowered. So they just slapped a bunch of slowdown on all of his abilities and made them take extremely long to use. I don't get why. Like, out of all of them, this one is probably the least bad, solely because you won't really like notice how bad it is inside of Chase, because you could just like drop it through Shack and then they probably won't even see it or be able to dodge because it's so big. However, of course, there is a magic item that lets you see when he uses it and where the magic orb is, so whenever he uses this, you just get free wall hacks. Finally is Fly, which is another massive letdown. Fly lets you, well, does what it says, it lets you fly, so you move super fast and can go over pallets and windows. However, you never want to use it to do that, ever. It's basically only good for closing distance, like after getting a hit on a survivor, and then they use Lithe, Overcome, or Balance Landing, etc., to catch up quickly. However, the end lag on this ability is so insane that you don't get to hit survivors for at least a solid 3 seconds after you're done using it. So even if you do fly and land right on top of them, you just don't get to hit them unless they're in a dead zone. It's like old Legion Feral Frenzy, where you could run up right next to them, cancel your ability, and they'll still have enough time to make it to a pallet or window. It's really bad. The whole dashing over pallets part is just, it's worse than Wesker's, because with Wesker, if they at least hug the pallet, they get hit. But with Vecna, nope. Nope, if you hug the pallet and just run around him, you don't get hit or damaged or anything. So as soon as you see him fly over the pallet, you can just run around him and vault on the other side of the pallet. Or, because there's such a long cooldown, you could run the opposite way and still be around the other side of the pallet by the time he's done going out of recovery. Paired with, again, another really long 30 to 45 second cooldown. Everything about him sucks. Then we get to the magic items, which range from stupid busted to just alright. There's 4 items that give info on Vecna basically all the time. An item that lets you see when he uses Mage Hand, Flight of the Damned, his Orb, and Fly. So whenever he uses an ability, you can just see him cross map. This means that if all 4 survivors get geared up, it's basically as if they all have alert on them or object of obsession. Like, no joke, you can just constantly cross map see where Vecna is depending on what items you take. Plus, there's an item that gives you, free, like I mentioned earlier, free haste. Free haste for no reason. You use your ability, I get 7% haste for free. Like, if they wanted to make sure he wasn't busted on the PTV, you passed with flying colors behavior. A++, because this killer is dog doo-doo. And you know what? I hope I'm wrong. I hope later down the line, they hyper buff this character and he's busted as hell. Because right now, this is the most underwhelming killer in the entire, I'm just gonna say it, this is like as bad as Twins. Sure, he's not as buggy, but like everything about him is just clunky and slow and ineffective, right? Because at least with Twins, Victor is strong. You can chain 4 downs incredibly quickly with Victor, rapidly. But with Vecna, I want to fly around, 45-second cooldown. I want to use my shot, oh, they crouch it, 45-second cooldown. I want to use Mage Hand to block this pallet or lift it up so I can quickly get hit. I'm massively slow down, they get haste, 45-second cooldown. Okay, let me get information, 45-second cooldown. It's just everything about him is so bad. I can see the vision though. I can perfectly see what they were going for, but it doesn't work. His attack is just worse than Artist and Huntress by miles. Like, his is so bad, I don't even want to compare them, it's so bad. It's closest to Artist, but you can't hit normal survivors who realize, oh, push control key, ability does nothing. It's just so bad. His mobility is worse than Blight, Billy, and Spirit because for some reason you start the match on cooldown compared to Billy, who has no cooldown of the sort and can be across the map in 5 seconds, with overdrive and instantly down a survivor. But for him, no, I need a 10-second cooldown before I can use my fly for some reason. In Mage Hand, sure, it gives you some anti-loop, but compared to someone like a Doctor who can just zap mid chase and they can't use pallets for 2.5 seconds while he still moves at a max speed basically, it's just not good. Or, you know, other anti-loop killers like Hag or Singularity, where you can just use your ability and then they might as well just leave. I can see what they were going for, having a killer who can control chase and the map by switching through his 4 abilities, but the problem with it, all of the abilities are bad and have way too long of a cooldown that you can't do anything cool with them. Literally, nothing about him is good. I don't want him to be super OP easy like Chucky or Spirit, but come on, you can crouch under his attack. Crouch teching is the way to counter his ability. Like in this clip here, it perfectly summarizes everything on why he's so bad. This Vecna did everything within his kit to get a hit, and it still did nothing. All of his abilities just failed and did nothing. He's not good. He's not good at all. And if he doesn't get any buffs, he's going to be Freddy tier. And the only reason he's getting kills and stuff now is because people don't know the counterplay. He's really bad. There's nothing about his kit that is good. There's also 2 Vecna items that survivors can get that will give them haste or let them teleport whenever they go into a locker, but considering that they have to, you know, be healthy and lose a health state for them using it, I'm mostly fine with these. You have to roll in that 20 to get them, and then you get a buff that you can use when you do a certain action, and then you lose a health state for it. So I feel like that has enough, you know, risk and reward to it compared to, you know, Crouch Under Flight of the Damned. I don't have anything else to say other than buff Vecna, take care of yourselves, and have a damn good one. Peace.